रोज रोज खोते हैं रोज रोज Let's try this power tip. Let's try this. See. Oh, wow, wow, wow. İskısa usumo. Damn.
Hello everyone. So
Hello.
in today's video, we'll be looking at bash commands.
No, no, no, no. Yeah. Yeah, man. शाम गम की कसम आज हम भी हैं अभी जा जीते शाम
And we'll also be exploring a lot of different commands that can help you navigate your operating system better, work with files, move directories, and do a bunch of different things to your command line interface. And towards the end of this video, we'll also be looking at how you can set up Node.js in your own systems. But before we get started, let's just understand what exactly is Bash. So Bash is nothing but a command line interpreter language that lets you interact with your operating system. So if we look at a standard terminal that is present in any Unix-based machine, what you see in front of you is a prompt. And you can give any instructions to your operating system to execute. So the job of the shell or your command line interface is to understand and interpret this prompt that you've given, and it is then executed by the kernel. So your shell is basically abstracting away all of the intricacies of your operating system for you. So let's get started. Now, the most basic thing that you would want to do when you're getting started with exploring directories or looking at what are the different things that are present in your computer is understanding what exists right now or where exactly are you. So in order to understand which directory are you currently located at, you can use a very simple command called pwd, which gives you the details of the present working directory.
Right.
So I'm currently located in my documents directory.
Okay.
Now I want to understand what are the different directories that are present or files that are present within this directory. So we have a command called ls, which is used to list all of the files, directories, subdirectories, which are present under a given folder. So let's look at the output of ls. So I have a Zoom directory, I have a new directory. Let's understand what is there within the new directory. So I can just do ls on my new directory. Now, I cannot understand whether these are directories, these are files. So ls command comes with a lot of different options available to us with which we can look at details of the file, such as their last modified timestamp, their file size, their user permissions, and a bunch of more things. So let's look at some of those options really quickly. So the most basic way of looking at what each of the files and folders within your directory contain, or details about that, you can use the option -L. And what you see here in the first column is the permissions of that particular folder. Since it is a directory, you will see that these permissions are preceded by a D. What you see here is the number of references that are there for these directories. This is the owner of this directory. This is the group owner. This is the size in bytes. This is the last modified date and timestamp, and this is the name of the directory. Now, let's say I want to look at few more details in terms of what exactly is present within my new directory. So what I can do very quickly is I can say ls-l new dir, and what I can see is all of the directories that are present within that directory. Now, let's say I also want to look at what are the things which are present within each of these subdirectories. So in order to do that, we can just add another option called ls-r, and it will give us details of all of the subdirectories as well. So within Snake Game, we have multiple subdirectories, and within those subdirectories, we can look at each of the files. Okay, now that we know how to list files and folders within a given directory, what we are trying to understand is how can I get the list of directories and understand what was the last modified first. So for that, we have a very simple option called -d. And now the good thing about all of these commands is that you can combine multiple options together. So we can just say ls-lt, and we can also look at the timestamp of when it was last modified. So you see the one which was the oldest files are at the last, and the newest ones are in. The beginning. Now, What you can also do is that not all of the files are visible when you're working with private keys or environment keys of certain APIs. You would store those information in certain environment files. So if you look at it, I don't think you will be able to see anything. Let's say we just do it for the snake game. Now, in order to see all of the hidden files, we can do ls minus LA. So you see that all of the files which are preceded by a dot are essentially the hidden files. And we can also look at the hidden files which could be present within these subdirectories. And we can add a very simple option, which was -R, so that it recursively lists all of the directories for us. So there are a bunch of hidden files that are present, which is generally the Git files. We don't have a lot of hidden files here, but mostly the yarn and the Git files, which are important. Now, we've looked at different options, which gives us hidden files, which lists the details of the files. We've also seen how we can get the timestamp based ordering that that are present, which is generally the Git files. We don't have a lot of hidden files here, but mostly the yarn and the Git files, which are important. Now, we've looked at different options, which gives us hidden files, which lists the details of the files. We've also seen how we can get the timestamp based ordering. If, let's say, you want the reverse of what you have seen using the timestamp based ordering, you can use the command called r minus r that basically gives you all of the files in the reverse order of what it was modified at. If you want to see it at the new directory level, this is exactly what you would be getting. Okay, let's say that we basically want to list the files in the reverse order. That's exactly what we did. We can also list these directories by all of the directories and files by size. So let's just probably look at one of them, which has a little bit more number of files within it. So this is basically the size of each of these folders and subfolders that are present. Now we have looked at ways in which we can look at what is present within each of these files. But before we go into intricacies of how you can visit each of these folders, look at a bunch of files, create new files, let me give you a few tips and tricks of how you can look at, find files and do a bunch of interesting things around with your directories. So now we want to look or find certain kinds of files within a given directory structure. And it's pretty simple. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. Let me show you one of the ways in which you can use the ls commands output along with grep to do that. You can also use wildcards to do that. So let's quickly look at the contents of the ZK Sudoku UI folder. There are a bunch of JSON files, there are JS files, we have CSS files as well. So I'm going to try and pull out all of the JSON files that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that recursively give me all the outputs of this directory and just do a grep on all the JSON files. So it's going to give me all of the JSON files which are present. If I also want to look at all the JS scripts, it'll give me that as well. You can also do this at a higher directory level. You'll still get it because we are recursively looking at all of the directories and the subdirectories. Similarly, you can also search for these files at a specific folder level. So if you look at it, we were in the Sudoku JS folder, you can basically just do a wildcard of at a specific folder level. So if you look at it, we were in the Sudoku JS folder. You can basically just do a wildcard of ls on this particular folder. Let me just quickly do that for you. So where are we currently? We are in this directory. We go to our new directory, snake game, and then we do cd to, okay, let's just omit the first directory because we are already within. Hello, everyone. So in today's video, we'll be looking at bash commands, and we'll also use folders with grep to do that. You can also use wildcards to do that. also do this. Currently, we are in this directory. We go to our new directory, snake game, and then we do cd to, okay, let's just omit the first directory because we are already within that directory. Now, all we are looking for is all of the JSON files present here. Since there are no JSON files, let's just look at what are the different files. So these are all the JS files. So we only want to look at all of the scripts. So you can just use wildcards, add a directory. level to get your files. Let's just look at what are the different files. So these are all the JS files. So we only want to look at all of the scripts. So you can just use wildcards at a directory level to get your desired files. All right, so what we looked at so far is how we interact with different directories, how we can list it out, different ways. There were long form, reverse order, timestamp based ordering. And now there's a few tips and tricks that I'd like to share of how you can navigate these directories. Now, when it comes to looking at the subdirectories, I mean, you can just say ls minus l, and it'll give you everything on new dir. And instead of doing a recursive search, similar to how we did it here, you can also look at the directories at quite, I would say, at the grassroots level as well. Now, let's say that you are searching for a particular file, which could be, let's say you're looking for Zoom-based directories. So you can just say, you can basically use wildcards to specify the name of the kind of files that you're looking at. So this shows me all of the files that are present within that particular directory, which matches this regex. Another thing that you can also do is that you can also look at the directories which are present at the parent folder of this document. So if you look at
सोने के बाद जितनी तो मिलती जाए, इतनी लगे थोड़ी थोड़ी, जब भी तू ले अंगड़ाई आके मेरे दिल। My head is pale. Those who are parents inside your heart.
um, let's say you're looking for Zoom based directories. So you can just say, you can basically use wildcards to specify the name of the kind of files that you're looking at.
Damn. So capital letter is for direct, small letter is for carrot, carrot. Spirit. what the damn. Never knew this is the